Hi, this is Nuthan and Malini. After a few weeks of hiatus, we're back together. And because of it's so cold and so winter, we've decided that rather than doing these as weekly broadcasts, we're going to do as many as we can whenever we can get together, because there's no point stressing about doing something that we do for pleasure.
Yeah, that was the whole point of this. If you had seen our first one, it was supposed to be fun. So actually, about I think 3 weeks ago, when we couldn't find time, we were actually going to meet. There was tons of snow, and Nuthan and I were saying, "Oh, where are we going to put?" And we kind of stopped and said, the whole point of this was, it was supposed to be fun and stress-free. So then we said, that's fine. We've already posted so many. We will just take it as it comes. If we can get something out every couple of weeks, maybe every month. But we wanted to remind ourselves that this was not something that was going to cause us any additional stress.
Speaking of stress, one of the things, these are holiday seasons, and one of the things that people often get stressed about is inviting people and being invited to a place. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how to be not only just a good host, but how to be a gracious guest. So I wanted to talk to you, Malini, about your pet peeves about people visiting you. And I'll tell you, visiting means not staying in your house itself, but also just for a dinner party or any afternoon. And I will tell you what are mine, and then we can talk about how to be a good and gracious host.
Okay. Kind of putting me on the spot. Now, for one, I am very grateful to anybody who invites us. Okay. I mean, I'm the kind of person, if somebody's going to take the trouble to invite me, I'm just happy that I'm invited. Okay. Now, you asked me specifically about people coming to my house that we have invited. And I wouldn't say I have a pet peeve. And usually people do ask, before they come, should I bring something, or...
Yeah, that's a polite way of...
And, most often, unless it happens to be a potluck or a bigger thing, we usually say, no, don't bring anything, just bring yourself, usual stuff, right? And occasionally, there'll be people who actually bring a food item, especially if it is a food item that ends up being eaten before your meal. That tends to, especially if you've planned a meal, that food item may be a more filling item. But obviously, if somebody has taken trouble to make it in their house,
or buy it,
or even buy it, but there are people who actually make, let's say somebody's made dahi vada. Okay, I mean, who says no to that? People are already hungry when you are coming, right? So you have this homemade dahi vada. Come on, even I cannot resist this. It tends to be that, and then everybody fills up on that, and then meal kind of gets a bit messed up.
And, I agree with you, because that is something that I know your husband Pankaj as well as me. When we invite people for a meal, we pay a lot of attention in terms of not what we're cooking, but the whole feng shui of that meal.
Yeah, I mean the flow, the ambience, the way things are presented, in what order.
And so hold it. And in that case, if somebody brings an appetizer or even main dish, sometimes people would bring, I feel like, even though no matter how well intentioned it is, that's disrespecting the host. Not an
I
actual
don't want
way,
to
but
use the word disrespect because it's done out of caring and out
of course,
so
of course.
I definitely would not say disrespecting. But I also think that maybe people who do that, also when people are coming to their house, may also like if people bring things. I mean, if sometimes things that you do, maybe things that you like also, like say if you were going to that person's house, maybe they might expect you to bring something edible that's supposed to be eaten rather than just bringing a bottle of wine, right?
I also feel is that it is also depends on, like you earlier said, potluck. Potluck, you can ask what part, appetizer, meal or dessert or whatever. You can ask, and specifically, whoever is organizing should coordinate it better so you don't have 10 appetizers and no main dish. So that's one thing. If it is a big party, but casual party, and you want to help the hostess, you can always say, "Oh, can I bring an appetizer? Or should I bring a dessert?" And if they said, "Okay," because sometimes I will say, "Okay," if somebody says, "Can I bring an appetizer?"
Yeah.
Then, because then if I know they're doing it, I will change my main or dessert from that
Exactly.
part of it.
Yeah.
It is also whose house you're going, how close a friend it is, and how, what is the occasion. And if, like I said, host is planning a very special evening for you, at that time, I personally don't think it's a good idea to take anything other than the standard
Hostess gift.
hostess gifts. Is like you can take a wine
Flowers.
where people can
Flowers
use.
are something that nobody, it doesn't matter whether you drink, don't drink. I think flowers are nice things to
Yeah,
take.
yeah. Flowers are nice. Sometimes you can bring plants.
Yeah.
I like plant, but nowadays with people who have homes for a long time, if plants is just one additional thing, and it is too much work for them.
That's true.
So flowers is a good hostess gift. A glass of bottle of wine is a good thing. If you have to take a food item, I think it's not a bad idea to bring a dessert, but it is definitely a bad idea to insist that people use your dessert at that part.
Yeah, but I don't think, unless the hostess has said, sometimes people would say, you know what, that's fine, then I won't make a dessert.
Yeah.
We'll have your dessert, right? But I think adding a separate dessert, and then you're left with that dessert after everybody goes, and then you're going to eat it.
Or you're not gonna eat it.
But the other thing, somebody told me something funny the other day, and she said she had a friend who says, I will bring an appetizer. But then the friend doesn't come on time and she comes late.
I know.
And then the appetizer gets put together with the main meal. And she says, I don't know what to do. I said, and I told her, maybe next time tell her to bring the dessert. And she said she does that every time. And she said, I don't know what to do. Every time she says, I'll bring an appetizer, every time she's late. So then she changed it to dessert. So I asked her the other day, how did it work? She said, it worked out great. She actually didn't come late this time. And she brought a nice dessert. And we all had that dessert. The other, and I'm not going to call it a pet peeve, but it can be a problem, is when people don't tell you. You ask people about food restriction. Now we're all into allergies and food restrictions and all of that. And usually people tell you they have an allergy or gluten-free or something. But I'll tell you, like a number of years ago, maybe people were not so in tune to some of those things. And we had some friends who, it was more of a more casual lunch. And we had made some modifications. And for a certain type of meat and things like that, and we made a lasagna which had, a cheese-based sauce and everything. And I asked them, and then when they came, the way the dish was put together, they couldn't actually eat it because of a certain combination. And so we actually ended up making an omelette.
I know.
And when you ask me that, It's only happened once, but I've been
No,
very,
it has
very
happened too.
conscious of asking very specific questions about, especially
Or-
people I don't know, people I'm inviting for the first time.
And also, what I'm saying is that another thing is to be part of being a gracious guest. If you did not, if your host didn't ask you about allergies or this or that, and if you decided that, okay, this is something I cannot eat, one meal is not going to kill you. Don't say it. Don't make a big deal about your allergies and what you can eat and what you cannot eat. There is usually, if you go in a party, there are enough things that you can eat without making a big deal. I used to go to a friend's house for dinner, and they would have the very fancy meal, and the main dish was always meat dish, very expensive cut of meat, and this. And I don't eat that, you know that. So what I would do is I would fill up myself on an appetizer, and then just eat the sides.
Yeah.
Now, after several years, when she found out
Yeah.
that I've not been eating the main dish, then what she would do is she would make something from the appetizers, like a shrimp thing, that I could eat as a main. So you're there to have good time. Don't make it all about you. You know, we're almost at the
So
end
why
of
would
ours.
you
It's
do
so
like
the
a 2
2 cents
cents,
worth.
right?
So to be a good guest is one thing is be appreciative of the fact that somebody's gone through all this trouble to invite you, and it's their show. Let them run it.
Yeah, that I think it's a very important. At the end, sometimes you forget that when you're invited to something, you know, you're going to something, but it is important for the person who invited you to have fun. They shouldn't be too stressed. They shouldn't have to do, you know, asking people to, you know, like helping in the kitchen. Some people like it, and some people don't want you doing stuff, you know, moving their dishes and things like that. So I would say yes, be appreciative and respectful of your host or
And
hostess.
don't steal their thunder.
Yes.
See, sometimes if you bring a very good, if you're a great cook and you brought up an appetizer or a dish that is better than your hostess's one, then everybody would say, oh, this is so good, this is so good. And the poor hostess has gone through cooking all of these things, and nobody says nice things about hers.
No, I think that's a really good point. So we're out of time. So everybody have great holidays, and when you're invited somewhere,